This is a blizzard warning from the National Weather Service. For the following, in Colorado, Greeley, blizzard warning in effect from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time Saturday.
Hello YouTube fishermen, I am Tony and this is Colorado Adventures. Today we're going to talk about flashers, electronics when it comes to ice fishing. If you guys are not using electronics when it comes to ice fishing, you're completely missing out. This device, this piece of equipment has really revolutionized the ice fishing industry. Obviously they've been around a while. This is nothing new. Once I got my Vexilar, I tell you what, my catch rate went through the roof. You're able to identify a whole bunch of different things with it, and I'm going to show you today how to use that Vexilar so you can improve and catch more fish. So when it comes to using electronics, there's three different things that this electronics is going to tell you. Number one, it's going to tell you the depth that you're fishing at. Number two, it's going to tell you if there's any fish in the area, which is kind of important. And number three, it's going to tell you where those fish are in the water column, which obviously is going to help you catch more fish, which is always a good thing. So this particular fish finder is called the Vexilar FL-8 SE. This is made by the company's name Vexilar, and this is an ice fishing only flasher. The idea behind the flasher essentially is you have a display right on the front of it that circles around, and essentially it sends down sonar. It's very simple. Sends down sonar. Anything that interrupts that sonar within that transducer cone is going to bounce back up and going to tell you where it is on the screen. One really nice thing about the Vexilar FL-8 SE is it runs off of your normal 12-volt marine battery. You can get them at Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, pretty much anywhere. They are rechargeable, which is pretty important. I usually get at least 16 to 20 hours per charge, depending on how cold it is, obviously. But it's very, very portable, makes it nice and easy. So this particular unit, it comes in, I've got it in a bag right now. There's not very much to it. We've got the display right here on the front. At the top, at 0, just at the 12 o'clock, is going to be your 0 feet. That's going to be top of the ice hole. And it's going to continue around clockwise around the circle all the way up to 20 and 30. 20 being in white, 30 being in yellow. Now, it's important to understand with those colored numbers what those coincide to, and what's going to happen is we're going to look on the right-hand side. I am missing a knob here, but if you turn this from the off position, which is straight up, to S1 or shallow 1, what that means is over here on the right-hand side, you're following the white letters and numbers on the display here. The top of it is white. And you can see as it goes around, we've got 5, 10, 15, and 20. The 1 is important because you're going to multiply these numbers by 1, and it's going to tell you your depth. If you turn it to 2, you're going to multiply these numbers by 2 to get your depth, and the same thing for 4. Now, if we're getting super deep, when we turn it to the right, we're going to go to D, or deep, 1, 2, 4, and that's yellow. And then we're going to start at different intervals for the yellow, and you can see it goes all the way up to 30 for D1. That would be 30 feet. D2 would be 60, D4 120 feet. So the maximum depth that you can use this Vexilar at is 120 feet. What you're going to look at once you put the transducer into the hole is you're going to follow around from the right hand side all the way around until it becomes a bright red color. That's going to tell you where the bottom is. Right now we're sitting just over 15 feet. I do have it on S1, so we're only going to take the white numbers to 15. The second dial up here, called your gain, essentially is going to be out what you're discriminating or the sensitivity. The higher that you turn that up, the more sensitive your transducer is going to be. You're going to get some feedback. You can see those green lines starting to show, yellow lines. Essentially, you want to kind of balance right in between where you get too much feedback and no feedback, and that's going to allow you to see your lure or your bait as it drops down to the bottom. And what we're going to do now is drop down my Swedish pimple, and we're going to see it right over here. It's going down, sitting at 10 feet right there, and continuing all the way down to 15 feet. Once we hit the bottom, when we jig, we're going to see it come off the bottom, go back down. Your lure is going to show a deep dark red band with yellow and then green. The larger the band, the larger the object is down below. So when you're jigging up at, say, 13 feet here, if you see another red band that comes off the bottom, that's going to be a fish coming up to you. You definitely want to see a larger red band. The bigger the fish, that's obviously a lot better. So that's what you're looking for that. You can jig it up and down. We might have some interference there, so we'll turn the gain down a little bit and try and make that as clear as possible. And there we can really see that jigging right off the bottom. The final piece to the Vexilar FL-8 SE is going to be your IR on or off. So if you're using multiple devices that are close to each other, you can actually turn your IR on, IR off, and that's going to help with the interference. It's not going to pick up the other transducer that's close in the area or next to you, so you're getting a true readout of what you have going on your machine right there. Now the Vexilar FL-8 SE is not, I definitely would call it an entry-level electronics for ice fishing. I think the retail is just over $300. I'm going to leave a link down below to an Amazon description for the Vexilar. So you can get into it pretty cheaply. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to it. It's not very difficult to learn how to use. And I tell you, it will help you catch more fish when you're out ice fishing, which is, the intent of all of us when we're sitting out here. So I will not go anywhere without my Vexilar fish finder. I know that after about 15 minutes of not seeing any fish in the area after I get to a spot and I start jigging, then I'm going to move. If you don't have that fish finder, you're not going to know if the fish are there. One of the things that you will figure out pretty quickly, though, also if you do find the fish, is if they're suspended at a certain depth and you're jigging around there just above them, if they're following you but they're not committing, it's going to be your presentation. Again, if you don't have that Vexilar with you, you're not going to know if it's a color, if they're even in the area. These things are essential to catch more fish when you're out here ice fishing. By just having electronics out here on the ice with you, your catch ratio, your catch rate is going to exponentially go through the roof. You know what depth you're at, if there's fish in the area, and at what depth those fish are going to be at. That's just priceless information. If you don't see fish, move. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope this has helped you out a lot. If you have any further questions about the Vexilar FL-8 SE, please leave them down in the comments below. I will answer all the questions and do the best that I can to help you understand this a lot better. I've got some fish coming off the bottom right now, so I appreciate you guys watching. And as always, guys, I'll see you on the next adventure. Ooh.